Is July 14th. I had to look at the calendar for a second. July 14th, 1 p.m. Central Time, the year of our Lord 2022. We're about to get into something that I am extremely passionate about. Lori and I were just discussing this, almost angry. But we're going to talk about why personal branding at any level today, in today's economy, in today's market matters, and why the worst thing as a business you could do to your employees is stop them, right, Lori? To stop them
100%.
from getting into the aspect of creating for themselves their identity and a personal brand. We're going to explain that. And what I love is that they usually like to use the title, we're a conservative company. We're conservative, and that's how they attack and address some things that we're going to get into. This is probably not going to make your boss happy. So you might want to put a headset on. We're going to be back in about 40 seconds. Talk to you right away. Yes. Oh, Lori, what do you think about the new intro?
I love it. I also really like so I have just a fascination with black and white because I just think it has so much personality. And so like
the noir.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so even like that old style 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. That's awesome. I love it.
That's Donnie. I want to tell you right now, that's the creative space of the one and only Donald Murillo. Great job on that, Donnie. All right, guys, so here's how it goes. Sorry, normally I put up some posting way ahead of time. It's been crazy since the holiday, and Lori and I have been getting a bunch of things lined up. So I'm going to take a second right now, first off, and let you guys know. First off, here's the deal. Welcome again to Lunch Talk, and this is our Contagious Leadership series, and this is during a lunch hour, so we call it Lunch Talk. Real simple. So if you've never been here before, we appreciate it. Thanks for being here. Do us a favor. Drop a hashtag live in the comments. Let us know that you're watching live. If you are watching this later, do a hashtag replay. Just let us know you're around. All right. It's one of the things that drives me bananas. I get the way it works with live content, but I get so many like, oh, I really like that one show and that one speaker, and that was really great. And I'm like, wait, you were watching? Like, why didn't you say anything? I said, drop a hashtag live. Like, let me know, man. Like, it's awesome when I know that there's people out there that I've been working with for the last nearly 2 decades. Like, let me know. There's Anita.
True, but Rigo, what we're really doing, like we're doing this for the replay.
Yeah, there it is. We're doing this for the bits. We're doing this for the bits, right? Let me tell you what, this is live. So there's no doubt about it. I want you guys to know that, like, when we do this, we record it live. Even sometimes, on the rare occasion, when we throw a pre-recorded session up, it's still live. I love the aspect that I'm doing this right now. So like Donnie's got his finger close to like a bleep button, but we've already tested that out in 50 episodes of another show, and he never, okay. So he never got on time. So we just realized that we were just going to have to be a little more adult. A little more adult, Donnie. Thank you. Appreciate it. All right. So we're going to get into this, and Donnie, what I need to do is I do need to share my screen, but we're going to get into this in a second. So we're talking about personal branding. Now, Lori, you and I were talking prior to us going live. I want you to get into this. I think this is powerful, but what we're going to do today is we're going to ask a couple areas on why this matters, and we're going to get into some statistics, some reports. I'm going to be looking at some of the top, like, renowned business leaders, thought leaders, and top personal brand and brand building experts in the industries that are all out there that are taking the biggest companies in the world and moving them into a new place because the way we market our product, service, anything we're doing, I don't care if it's from the recruitment element all the way to getting your business out there, B2B or B2C. The entire platform of how we do it is changing dramatically. And I'm going to show you the numbers from like the U.S. Labor Department of Statistics, the Bureau, U.S. Labor Bureau, whatever
it's called.
I'm telling you, this one gets me fired up.
Me too. And you know, like what we were talking about before we even started recording was, you know, I was looking at it from a company's point of view because I've been an executive coach for high-end leaders and CEOs, you know, and helping them use emotional intelligence to engage their teams, which makes them more productive. And like when companies tell people that they can't have a brand, when they tell them what they can do, I mean, we're talking about like we're turning employees that you're supposedly trust into robots, and there's like zero creativity. So these companies are losing out on so much by saying you can't have a personal brand. I don't know. We're really gonna dive into this today.
You're absolutely right. Now, why is it an issue? And this is what you were talking about. And mention what we were just talking about right before.
All right. So first,
I don't want to say it the way you say it. I'm going to mess it up. You say it.
So I have a short list here that I came up with. So first off, you hire people that you supposedly trust. You trust your employees. You want them to also trust you. So there's this, if we're telling people like you can't have a personal brand, you can't be posting on social media about us, about your work here, then I think that we're making employees extremely like flat, so to speak, like two-dimensional, but we're decreasing our trust with them. And that's what they're going to feel is that the company that I work for, they don't trust me to make good decisions. Why'd they hire me? They only trust me to like, I got to follow the rules and check the boxes. Well, do they want to like also then start telling me what I have to wear to work? So a little bit of decrease of trust. This is companies being control freaky.
No, you're right. But here's the thing. They are. So, you know, it's interesting because before I came into this and I made this move, and this was a big influencing element as to why I got here. When I was young, I grew up in Southern California. And as a young man, the area I grew up in had a different atmosphere. It had different influence. And I had some of the tattoos that I've carried today, I've had literally since I was 19 years old. So now I'm in my mid 40s. I have completely, right? Like I have a whole new life. You know what I mean? I mean, from education and engineering degree, different multiple businesses. I've been involved in energy for nearly 20 years. I've created a reputation, and I want you guys to write this down because we're going to get into that and why reputation is super important. This word, okay? We're going to get back to that. But here I am with a very good reputation in the industry as a top business development strategist and sales manager. I get into a company to run their global operations, and they're forcing me to wear a blue or gray suit, and they're asking me to cover my tattoos. Literally asked if I would be willing to put makeup over them. And I said, no. Like, but they don't define me. First off, we are way past that place. It is totally acceptable as a small business. If you want to set any rules as any business and you don't want tattoos, fine. But I'm going to talk to you about why none of this matters when it comes to building revenue. Because in today's market, okay, reputation should be the forefront of everything. And personal branding, according to Rory Vaden, this is his quote, and I love this. Reputation, okay, digitization, like the social media aspect, this personal brand is the digitization of your reputation.
Yeah.
It is yesterday's knocking on doors, old school style of creating a reputation. We're not discarding the same aspects of building business that were impactful then. It's just shifted. Okay. It's shifted in how that works. And so when an organization is not recognizing the importance of this and understand how critical this is for your business to actually grow. So let's look at LinkedIn as a great example, as a simple platform. If you have a business in LinkedIn or a large business, and take any one of them and you can look it up and use any of them as an example, they're going to have a ton of different followers. A large corporation will, and you'll see the level of engagement is like horribly low. They'll have nearly 1 million followers. We have one, I was showing our team here internally, and I'm not going to use the name, but nearly 1 million followers, a manufacturer in our industry, and the engagement and comments on a post that's reaching nearly 1 million followers was less than 20 after 8 hours. Okay. Why is that? Because individuals don't engage with company pages by just having corporate blah, blah. And by the way, the people that were engaging were employees. There was no non-employee that was engaging. People do business with people, right, Lori? They do business with people, okay?
With people.
And
I mean, look at how like I'm now your co-host here, and it's because it was because of people. Like I engaged with you on the first time I came on this show, but regarding like those companies that are putting out like their little jargon, they're blending in with their competitors because everybody's got the blue suit on and the stock images and here's a client, like it's all like the same. Nothing stands out. And
there's no individualism to it. And here's what's interesting about it, and this is the stat I'm going to get into right now. Let's get into our first one. Let me get back. Donald, I need to move this browser over into this browser because I keep switching back and forth. All right. So let me bring this in. Actually, I won't be able to do it. Now I know why I moved it. Okay, let me go to that statistic. And all right, go ahead and bring me in. You got it? Okay. Enlarge this as big as you can get. I want you guys to see this. So this is through Statistica. It's a paid service that grabs a ton of great data. So anyways, the share of consumers or customers whose purchasing decisions were being influenced by social media advertising in the United States as of June 2021. So as of last year. Okay, I want you guys to see this. You see that? Most of your managers that are telling you that they don't want you to build a personal brand and it has to be company only and you have to tote the line, they're falling in that 12% decision-making group or possibly 29. I don't think there's a whole lot of Gen Xers, but there are a good number of them. Most of the Gen Xers, which I fall into, are in the I don't really care, I don't really know, or I don't do the social media thing. Even though this is not social media, this is not the MySpace that we were introduced to or the Facebook aspect of it. It's different. It has changed. This is how communication is released. I just posted this last night, Lori.
Yeah.
According to Google, through their own data, millennials and Gen Zs, astronomically different, are now getting their information and using TikTok as a search function or Instagram above Google. They're using TikTok. That one I did not see coming. Did you know that, Donnie? Using TikTok. And now think about this, Lori. This is from their own data, their own stats. They're realizing they are losing the aspect of search data coming in because users are moving over to a social media platform like TikTok to find information. This is how they're looking for information.
And well, a part of this, like, could it be that Google's just making it more complicated for us to actually find the answer that we want? I mean, there's a lot of times that I go to Google myself and I'm looking for an answer and they want to send me to all these videos. And it's like, I just want the damn answer. Like, tell
Lori,
me.
we're saying this, but 25 years ago when we were looking for answers, 25, 30 years
It was
ago,
called the library,
it was called the library. Yeah. Okay.
or call a friend.
Yeah. Or you called your
Yeah.
buddy's mom who was a teacher or
Yes.
was a librarian. Like you always called somebody else. Or I always just called the smart girls that always sat up
Well,
front.
but this brings up an interesting point that, like I myself did not, yeah, I wasn't born with, like a Starbucks latte in one hand, and a cell phone in the other and an email address. I remember the first email that I sent, and it was at like college. So I wasn't used to actually looking online for information. So I don't think it's unusual that younger people, like that's just how they grew up, is they didn't go to the library. They went to like the
Well,
office
they
or
would go to the library, but they went to the library because they had to do something with the room, but they were there to get on their laptops. I've
yes.
seen the libraries now,
Yes.
like even today, right? They just go there to use your laptop because
Socialize.
they built the library like 20, 30 years ago and they have to do something with it.
Yeah, we got to pretend to use the books.
We got to pretend that that is being used. No, and so real quick, Hotmail, AOL, or MSN, which one was it?
Juno.
Oh my God.
Yeah, and I had that email for a very.
You still have it? You still have it?
I had it for a very long time until it got hacked, and then it was like.
Yeah. I'm sure the server is probably in like somebody's garage somewhere. All right, so bring it back up here real quick, Don. Here's the thing, you guys. By the way, at any point as we're going through this, jump in. But I want you to see this statistic again. Okay, so Gen Z, 50% of Gen Zers are making consumer buying decisions through social media influence. So I want you to understand something. If you're a B2B business, B2C business, and you are not utilizing LinkedIn or TikTok or areas like that, Facebook or Instagram, which have become a lot more difficult. The reason why we're so strong with LinkedIn and why we're going to keep talking about that is because of the organic ability to grow in the consumer market that exists here in LinkedIn, how strong it is. And there's no other area that has the ability for you as an individual or business to build your brand reputation or grow your business any stronger other than TikTok or LinkedIn through an organic process without having to spend a ton of money in advertising costs like you would now on the other platforms. It's not a matter of if, it's just a matter of when these platforms will do the same. It is come and gone. And in my post, I had to put, the same group that's holding these individuals back in today's upper management is the same group of individuals that said the internet was a fad and it would not last. I go on and on all the dumb things that the generation right at my end and above thought they knew what was going to happen in the economy with digital media. None of them believed that this was going to happen. I'm very fortunate as I'm watching my young adult children that range from the age of 18 to 22 basically show me how wrong I am in a thought process and how fast it's moving. Then I have my next round of children, 11 and 7, who are using technology in a way that makes those kids look old, my 20-year-olds. And I'm looking at that gap going, holy mackerel. Like they made me feel bad. And then I'm looking at these other ones and I'm going, they're making them look old.
That's crazy.
Like, it is nuts.
Crazy. But it is.
Then you look at millennials,
so
right? What was that?
I just said it, but you're right. It's just happening that fast. I can't remember, like I heard some stat about how like the amount of information that was available to us and how quickly information is doubling in half the speed and then again in half the speed. It's absolutely crazy that you have to stay on top of this. And you're so lucky to have like these two groups of people that you're actually, it's almost like you've got your own laboratory experiment.
Yeah, it's like I have my own case study. And here's the reality too, is that this didn't happen on I just started looking and paying attention, and I happen to be in an area of the business where we're helping individuals build personal brand and reinforcing company brand. That's what we do. We help our clients and we help our market generate inbound leads through building personal brand to reinforce and strengthen company brand. We're going to get into it still some more. Go ahead and share this screen here. This is another one from it's a government document. It's coming out of the U.S. labor statistics, and it's in regards to the career outlook, and it's talking about the millennials in the labor force projected over the next 10 years from 2019 to 2029. And you're looking at a substantial increase in the millennials becoming the majority in decision making. So right now, today already, the most in terms of generations, the highest number of generations that are currently owning the decision-making space is the millennials. I wrote these numbers down, and I have another stat to pull up. But so I'll break it down to you here. Right now, your millennial and Gen Z-ish, I just had to combine it because it was too much of a pain in the butt to try to separate everything. Out of a total working, this is right now, according to U.S. labor statistics, there's 128 million-ish working force in the United States, okay? 128 million, Lori. Out of that 128 million, about 40 million are your Gen Zers. Excuse me. Yeah, Gen Xers. I'm sorry. Z, Y, W, X, whatever. Gen Xers, my gen. About 40 million of them. The baby boomer gen is 21 million. The Gen Z and millennial are 68 million. So more than half of today's working force is that gen. Okay, now here's why this is important. In the next 2 years, the baby boomer gen will completely be like phased out. And in the next 2 years, the millennial generation, they will become the strongest, fastest growing generation since the baby boomers, but bigger than the baby boomers. Bigger. Okay? 74% of millennials make buying decisions based on individuals and their personal brand. I want you to hear this.
Yes. Everybody, let that soak in. 74%.
74%.
That means there's only like 26% who don't give a shit.
Yeah.
Really.
So this was go ahead and share my screen. So PR Newswire, there was this is like a legit study run by, doctorate programs and folks. And there was a lot put into this particular study that they put out, and they did it with like over 1,000 different individuals and a bunch of other stuff. Anyways, the study's great. You can get it for yourself. But it basically shows right here that 76% of older millennials born from 1977 to 1986, they are more likely to buy from someone who has an established personal brand, while 33% of boomers responded the same way. So a third of baby boomers responded the same way. But when you look at it, what's happening is the way that the millennials are making buying decisions. Let me see if I can get into this. Tells you a little bit about the study. It was done by a group called Brand Builders, and the CEO's got some amazing stuff out there. By the way, we've been talking, and I really hope that he says yes to coming on, because I think he would absolutely just lay the hammer down on this. Because I saw a recent video he did with another individual who has a program called Founder, amazing program, and he had him on as a guest, and they were talking through this, and he was talking about the strength of personal brand. So here's what happens, right? As an individual, when you are building a personal brand, you're creating trust. And this is why this is important. Lori, have you heard me talk about the 4 phases of capturing, like getting that process in an inbound lead? Have you heard me explain that? Because I'm happy to explain that to you and others at the same time.
I haven't heard you talk about it, but I got an idea of what you're going to say, but please,
Okay.
let's just go over it again.
All right. So when it comes to inbound lead generation, don't share anything yet. Yeah. When it comes to, I thought he was pushing a button. When it comes to inbound lead generation, you have 4 phases. You have the attract phase, you have a convert phase, you have a capture phase, and then you have your fostering loyalty. So again, number 1 is attract, number 2, convert, number 3, capture, number 4, foster. Okay. You can come up with a C word for me. That'd be great. I couldn't. I had 3 C's in a row. I was like, all right, it's going to be 4 C's. I could not. Fostering loyalty. What's that? Contain sounds like they're like you got them like imprisoned. Not contain. I don't think contain is the right word.
No.
Yeah. All right. So the attract stage is your job as an individual to offer value and work through the process of engagement. You know, there's an old methodology that I'm finally seeing others recognize that it's going to phase out. And they go, what you want to tell people, you want to teach people the what, not the how. And so you get them interested, and then you're going to give them the what, so they identify, they see, yes, that's what I need. And then you sell them the how. I personally think that's garbage. I tell people the what and the how. Like, I tell people the secrets of everything all the time. I don't care. Like, first off, you're probably going to forget it. Secondly, you don't do this every day. Third, you still need to be coached through it. That's what I do. So
Yeah.
I'm happy to tell, because if you can go implement it and you're like, holy crap, that works. What else you got? I'm like, I got a lot. Come on in.
Yeah, and that's how you're attracting clients, is that they're, wow, this really worked. Or they're going to say, you know what, I don't really want to do this because I'd rather be crafting, like working on my content, working on my art. I can hire you to actually do this for me.
That's right.
But I already know that it works.
Right.
You have credibility.
Oh, bingo, right? Bingo. Yeah. And again, credibility is your reputation, and personal branding is the digitization of your reputation. Listen, nothing's changed. But so we go back to it. So in the attract stage, and it's crazy, LinkedIn, I just did a course through LinkedIn on this. It's great, by the way. And if you don't take advantage of all of the courses that they offer for free, these are incredible stuff. They're great. And there's so many big names and big groups behind these studies that are not LinkedIn that are putting these on, helping you understand the power of why this is so important today in our economy and in the market of B2B or B2C as you're trying to get your product, service, goods, doesn't matter. Okay. But when you're working through the attract stage, gosh, I wish I had the statistic in front of me, but understanding that trust, okay, and this has all been expedited due to the COVID pandemic that I don't know if we're out of now, or now it's something new. I don't know. Anyways, the point is over the last couple of years, that just reinforced all of this, Lori, and what it did was it pushed it to the forefront. This was already happening. In 2018, we founded MW Partners with this idea in mind that we needed to show companies how to build a digital brand position, a personal brand to reinforce their company brand. Nobody believed what we were doing mattered until COVID, and then all of a sudden we were no longer crazy. Okay.
And don't you think that, during this lockdown when everybody was home, now you only had a digital device to actually figure out if you wanted to work with that person, to buy that product. I couldn't go to the store and actually touch it, feel it.
That's right.
I'm looking at testimonials, reviews of things, or you're asking people and people saying, oh, you should go buy it at this company, or
that's exactly right.
Yeah.
Lori, exactly. You nailed it. That's exactly right. And so what's happened is, you see, in a previous way of conducting business, and I want to put a disclaimer in here, nothing replaces the peer-to-peer, person-to-person, together, nothing replaces that. We're humans. We need that, okay? So nothing replaces that. But there is a need to have a way to get as close to it as possible. And this process is it. So if you want to take some notes, you're about to get some of the massive hacks and secrets in how this works. You have to develop trust. That is the attract stage. How do you develop trust? Lori, if I am going to be posting in my social platform, LinkedIn, we're connected.
Yeah.
How are you going to connect with me and build trust if all you see is the corporate flag being flown and only that message?
I'm moving on, so I'm actually not going to build any trust. So.
That's exactly right. This really hit home for me about 3 years ago when a client we had brought in and we were working with, he had made a mention to Facebook, and I said, "Oh, you got a Facebook account too? Hey, let me hit you up. Let's friend there." He goes, "Oh no, I don't friend a business into my Facebook account." I looked at him and I go,
"What?"
I go, "Okay." I said, "So are you telling me that your Facebook social media account is the real you and this then is not the you?" And he kind of looked at me and he didn't know what to say. And I looked at him and I go, "Why would you have a different persona or personality on any of your accounts?"
This is interesting. This brings me back to my executive leadership days where I would tell, I would do like 360 evaluations and like they're just not connecting with their team. But I used to like tell people like, you come into work on Monday, ask how the ball game was. How was the little like your kids like soccer game? And I remember them always saying to me like, I can ask my employees questions like that. I feel like, yeah, it's like it's a form of like getting to know people. So the fact that like this guy said that no, I don't friend business associates on Facebook. Yeah, that would make me wonder like how are you like different outside
Yeah,
of
well, that's exactly it. All I thought was, well, what are you posting that you're afraid? First off, it's the internet, dude. Like, if you're putting anything on the internet, it's out. Like, if I want to find it, I can find it, I guess. Like, now you got me interested. Now I want to know. But this is when it hit me in his part because he was at a high level. He was an executive role. We're about the same age. And I looked at that and I was like, wow, like you've completely missed the concept of this. And if you look at my LinkedIn account and if you follow me, you're going to see a little bit of everything. It's not hodgepodge. I talk about stuff I like. Now, there are things that are personal to me, whether it comes to faith or my family or my finances or politics or beliefs. Those things I don't really talk about anywhere because I don't. Now, there are people that do because they like to, and that's a platform they want to build. That is totally okay. See, when it comes to social selling, when it comes to creating a personal brand and creating that presence, it's not about the brands and the widgets and the gadgets and the colors. It's not about any of that. It's about becoming authentic in who you are. So in the old organization that I was working for, having to be suited up for I have no problems wearing a suit. I love suits. I have tons of beautiful suits. But it wasn't who I was. Now, if I'm going to a high-level meeting with a large company, and I want to dress up, and I'm representing the company that way, like, I'm totally okay with that. I was rebellious and said, I'm not doing navy blue, like boring. So I went and got all custom stuff done, like customed it out purposely and made sure my socks were bright as hell. And I said, I'm wearing a suit.
And
it's not navy blue. I was like, I'm not doing navy blue. So,
and that was part of your personal brand.
That's exactly right, Lori.
And the whole thing about the socks, for anybody who is watching this, or listening to this, socks can be part of your personal brand too. I worked with a cardiologist, and he all of his socks were really kind of very funky. He would come in and we'd be like, let's see the socks. It just became like a natural thing. I got it. What are the socks? What socks you wearing today?
That's exactly right. For me, my shoes and hats. Hats are part of my personal. Why you always wear a hat? I had another group say, "Well, we don't allow to wear hats." I'm like, I don't care. I'm wearing a hat. Why do you wear a hat? Because I have no hair, dude. I have no hair.
What does it matter?
Yeah, what does it matter? I'm wearing a hat. Like this is, it doesn't matter.
Part
And
of
that's
who
exactly
you
right.
are.
It's about results. Do you want results or not? Now, of course, I'm in media and marketing and I do podcasts. So now all of a sudden I wear t-shirts all the time. You know what's funny enough today? I did put up a button up and I do like it. Don't get me wrong. It's a nice shirt, but it wasn't fitting the outfit. And I was like, but I wear t-shirts. Like I like t-shirts. And this is a company shirt.
And how do you feel when you're dressed the way
Bingo.
you
That's
wanna be dressed?
exactly it.
Your creativity, and when you're dressed the way that you want to and not in the corporate suit, you're going to come up with better ideas instead of like, God, I
That's
hate
right.
this suit
Now
with
here's,
ties."
and on the flip side, I know a ton of guys that love to get like, to the nine and they feel powerful when they're like that. And you know what? Sweet.
Great.
Like awesome. Like, yes. Because I
That's
can,
you,
and
as
it's,
long as you're doing it for you and you're
that's
not
right.
copying somebody
That's right.
else.
That's exactly it. And that's the problem is that so many times we try to be someone else and we're not authentic. So here we go to the phase one, the attract stage, getting people to trust you. You have to become authentic. So I'll talk about certain things about my life that I want to share. You can share as much as you want or as little as you want. How private you stay in a social setting is up to you. Nobody is forcing you to give your home address and show pictures of your wife and kids. It's your decision. People can be as private as they want and still be massive influencers in the arena of social media. So attracting is becoming authentic, working through engagement, letting people get to know who you are, your interests, everything else. There's some things that most people know about me. They know that I am a collector and connoisseur of whiskey and cigars. And lately I've been getting into pipe tobacco because I think it smells amazing. And I like that I don't have to smoke an entire cigar. I can just smoke a little bit of my pipe. It looks cool too, right? But Donnie's shaking his head. But I enjoy tobacco and I enjoy whiskey. It's not really all alcohol. And I have a lot of it. And I'm not a heavy drinker, but I enjoy it. So what does that do, Lori? That connects with people. If they don't drink, it's okay. I don't care.
Right. It's just who you are.
That's who I am. It doesn't disconnect us, but there are a lot of people that find that interesting. I had a call yesterday from somebody that asked, hey, I'm going to show up to this event and we're wanting to bring cigars. Could you help me out? Yeah, no big deal. Got online, showed them what they should get. Nice in between for anybody and everybody kind of cigar. Here's my account that I use and here's the discount. Here you go. Right?
And think
Grab
about
that.
how you are, if they weren't a customer or a client, but they knew that you were into whiskey and cigars, like you become a resource for people for whiskey and cigars.
Lori, all the time. Honestly, I get these all the time. Right now in our
Sure,
studio.
I asked you once. I did. I asked you the very first time I met you and you told me you were into whiskey.
Yeah, right now, I think we have just in this studio alone, right over there on the shelf, we have like somewhere like 156 bottles no, I'm not going to turn the camera. But yeah, we have like 100, like I'm not kidding. There's over 150 bottles of whiskey just right here because we're run out of room like everywhere because we have so many different. One day I'll have like a nice, beautiful bar. But the thing is, you're absolutely right. It does become a resource. Here's the crazy part. It allows me to have a conversation with people like real people, creating authenticity and trust. And we can talk about something. And guess what? When I call that person or text that person because now I need some help or I need to open up a business conversation, guess who they're answering? They're answering my call. Okay. So then that moves into the convert stage. The convert stage is how you move them from the attract over into a fan. Okay. And this is happening because they're engaging with something called thought leadership. This is you speaking on things that matter or concepts that you like. You can talk about the aspects of your business. That's the great thing. But people aren't going to want to listen to you unless they are interested in you, number one, or they find that you have value. See, everybody thinks you have to be somebody's friend in order to create trust. It doesn't work that way. You can get stuck in the friend zone in business just as bad as you can get stuck in the friend zone in regards to dating. And I cannot tell you how many different customers we've worked with. They can't understand why business isn't growing. They have all the right contacts, but Lori, they're in the friend zone. Yeah. They spent so much time, energy, money, travel, getting in front of all these different people. First off, waste, but doing all this work, building these relationships, but they had no value. So they weren't focused on the value first. Lori, if you and I were friends and I had tickets to a concert, to an artist that you could not stand, and I said they're yours for free, friend or not, I'm good. If you and I were not really friends, maybe co-workers, and in fact, I bothered you, but I had tickets for free to an artist that you absolutely would love to see. And I say, look, Lori, I just let you know I've got tickets. Somebody said you might be interested in them. If you want them, let me know. Guess what you're going to do?
I'm probably going to say, hey.
You're going to call me back and you'll be like, sure, I'll take it.
I'm going to call you back.
Yeah, right? And yeah, maybe we're not friends. You don't really like me. I know the hell out of you. But you're like,
thanks for thinking of me.
That's it. And maybe you might think different of me for a moment until I do something stupid again. And you're like, no, never mind. He's still an asshole. But guess what? I had something of value. You see, relationships are good, but you have to have value and you have to have an area of trust. You have to be able to know me. Even if you don't like me, at least there's the trust area. You know you don't like me, but you know that because you've gotten to understand me. So I'm not trying to make friends with everybody. I'm not trying to make anybody upset either. I'd love for everybody to really enjoy the stuff we do. I think that the information we give is huge, but I may not be everybody's cup of tea. That's okay. If the information can help. This is why we're always getting new guests, right, Lori? This is why I have you here, because I want other personality types, okay? And this is why when we bring the guests in, we typically let them do all the talking. Every now and then I'll do one. You'll get to do one. I'll show you.
We have variety.
That's right. We have variety. We have different types of information. So the convert stage, by being involved, being authentic, sharing thought leadership, now you're converting them into a fan. So now they're engaged with you. They want to see what you have to say. Now, those are the ones that are always posting and always saying. Those are the ones that get on the show. Those are the ones that are involved in that. Now we move on to the next stage, which is the capture and close stage. Okay, we move to the capture and close stage, and this is where we're now saying, listen, I have given you value. I've offered you opportunity to be engaged with me. In return for this, would you allow me to share this with you? Would you like to know more about this? And so you're walking them through the buying process. You're not forcing it. You're not pushing it on them. You are inviting them to take a step each time along the way with you. And once you close that deal, then the last and most important step is fostering loyalty. And you foster loyalty by continuing to offer value, information, and authenticity to keep the trust built. These are the 4 steps of inbound lead generation or creating these relationships in a social selling situation. And the largest, and will soon be in less than 2 years, the dominating force of decision makers and influencers, millennials, have a 74% statistical 74% aspect in making buying decisions based on your personal brand, not your company brand, product, or service. 74%.
So that should be the huge takeaway for everybody is that you've got a couple of years, so you need to be starting to do this right now, building your personal brand. Like, just decide what it is. You know, one of the things that I work with my clients when we start crafting a presentation, which, by the way, this whole 4 steps is exactly what a presentation does. But you want to decide, this is what I tell them, decide what kind of a speaker you want to be, not looking at other speakers or other like coaches, online coaches, and say, well, they're kind of like this. These are the 3 words that would describe them. I tell them, like, decide who you want to be, how you want to show up, and then make sure that your social presence like matches that. Like, that becomes like the lens that you get to look through everything. Am I being consistent with my with my brand, with my style. Let's use the word style too.
Absolutely. Yeah. No, absolutely. And when you are when you're focused on your reputation more than anything, because I think this is where a lot of times companies miss the mark, is if you're more focused on the reputation, which in a sense, unfortunately, if these companies are really looking at what they're trying to do, because I don't think they're malicious. I think that it's just an ignorant move. But what they're trying to do is ensure that they keep brand standard and reputation. You should. But you should build or allow consultants and agencies like, for instance, my company, MW Partners, your business, right? LA and Associates.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
To come in and train your team on how to properly build personal brands that reinforce the company brands. You see, you're not going to know about my company unless you get to know me. Once you get to know me, you're going to be more open to hearing about my company. So when I share things about my company or what we're doing, you're more inclined to check it out.
Yes.
Because you're building a relationship with me. This is the circle that we're trying to help you understand. And we're not the only ones that have figured this out. I want to share one more statistic with you. Donnie, pull it up real quick. This is the expected change in influencer marketing budgets in the United States from 2019 to 2021. This is just the US. You should have seen it globally. Humongous. And we're talking in the trillions. Okay? From 39% in 2019 to 71%. This is done across thousands of different marketing groups with some of the largest companies out there. That is nearly double. The marketing budgets are shifting to influencer marketing. Okay, go ahead and take it down. Do you know what influencer marketing is, Lori?
Well, I do, but you should let's
right?
just share. Yeah, let's define it for everybody.
This is influencer marketing.
Yeah.
This isn't right now. This is influencer marketing. Why? Because you're getting something through this, right? We're not charging you for this. Although both Lori and I have clients and companies that pay us well to teach them a lot of what we're doing right here. We're just cramming it in a little faster.
Yeah. I was just actually just thinking, like, this conversation could go on for like another show.
Literally, this is like.
We haven't even talked about the different types of companies that I think are stifling people's personal brands. Versus...
Oh, okay. Get into that. Get it. Because I want to I need a breather. Go ahead.
So I'm just thinking, some of the companies that I think are stifling brands are these older companies. Because we all know what Zappos and Google is like. We've already heard, we've seen what their campuses are like. That ain't nothing compared to like what J&J is. J&J's, like Johnson & Johnson's been around for 100 years. So somebody wrote some rule years ago before probably the internet was even around. And for some reason, it's like, but this is just the way that we've always done it. This is the way that it has to be. So nobody's actually challenged, these rules. And because like time has changed. So we've got companies that I think that aren't keeping up. They just think, well, our customers keep buying from us, so they're going to constantly just exist when they're not looking around. And I think some of the best wealth of information comes from, like, you got to listen to your customers, listen to your clients. They will tell you what they want. They will tell you what they need. That's how positive change keeps happening.
So, yeah, no, I love it. You're absolutely right. So here's what's funny. All right. So let me tell you some other statistics. So Procter & Gamble was the company that understood this little thing called TV advertising, and they were the largest spender in TV advertising during that period, 50s or 60s, became Procter & Gamble. The Procter & Gamble we know today, largest company, like one of the largest companies on the planet. Another little company called Amazon understood the power of AdWords, Google AdWords, internet SEO site searches, put everything into that. Was the largest spender. Do you remember there used to be a different website that you used to buy on that was supposed to take over everything? Do you remember, Lori? Do you remember what that was?
No.
It was like a little bidding site, still used today.
Oh, eBay.
That's
Is that
right.
what you're talking about?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you remember? eBay was supposed to be it. Amazon was just a bookstore.
Bookstore. I remember Amazon when it was just a bookstore.
That's right. And now Amazon is way bigger than that. And they're now competing and beating out the world's largest box store distribution anywhere on the globe, Walmart, and they did it in a fraction of the time. Walmart's been around like 75 years. They did it in like a decade.
Yeah.
Because they understood the power of the way you communicate at that particular time. Today, it is social media influencer marketing. In the next few years, that will change. I guarantee with the metaverse and all of these different elements that are changing and NFTs and how that is happening, in 10 years, the internet will be TV. But today, this little thing right here is yesterday's TV, and TV is yesterday's radio. Like, I don't know about you. It has been nearly 15 years since I've had a satellite or cable service because everything is streamable and I can just buy what I want.
So the moral of the story is keep up.
But that's exactly it. And the trends are showing us. And so how do we follow the trends? So when you're working here's one of the things is, and we'll work on getting this information over to you, because if you're working with a company that is not supporting you in this and you're really like, look, I want to support my business. I want to work in this company. I don't have a problem with them, but I don't want to be held down in terms of building my personal brand. I want to build a personal brand. It'll be better for my job as I'm trying to talk to customers out there. I want to be able to have that freedom without getting in trouble. We'll get some resources for you and we'll get that posted, because there are tons of studies that you can pull up. But most importantly is when you understand the economics of the buyers, the buying market that's shifting and how they make decisions, then it's about finding the right way of learning how to speak to them. So it's not, I don't want you to have a personal brand. And I really believe they're not saying, I don't want you to build one. It's saying, we're afraid of you hurting our corporate brand and we don't have a solution. So instead of helping you get there, we don't know how. So we're just going to say no.
I think there's a lot of truth to that also.
I don't think every company is out there trying to be malicious. You know what I mean?
And I'm also scared of you leaving.
Yeah. That's the other part. I did a video a year ago on that.
Yeah.
Yep.
What happens if you leave, but what happens if they stay and they're not tapping into their full potential?
Well, you know what? What happens if you actually give your employee the opportunity to build themselves to who they really are supposed to be? And that person becomes not just an innovator, but a disruptor for you, because they are given the platform to be an entrepreneur. Yes. Okay. You know who Steve Jobs is?
Yes.
Okay. Who doesn't? Do you know who Tim Cook is?
Yes.
Okay. How many people do you think know Tim Cook? If I look at Tim Cook's followers, like, it's a little more common now, but Tim Cook's been the CEO of Apple for quite a long time.
Right.
He's probably done more innovation and growth for that company than maybe Steve Jobs at this point.
And most people don't know what he even did beforehand.
Nope. That's exactly right. That's exactly right. There are incredible entrepreneur executives that are incredible at being innovative, and you don't know who they are, but in the organizations they were a part of, they were given the freedom to build their personal brand there. Today, you're learning more about him because he's doing more branding of himself. Look at Elon Musk. Mm-hmm. Rarely do you, I don't even think, I saw this statistic. I got to confirm it, so I didn't put it in here. But the last thing I heard was Elon Musk doesn't spend money in advertising. He doesn't have to. He doesn't do, like, I don't know. Do you see Tesla commercials?
I mean, he could. No, actually, I don't.
No, you don't. No, you don't.
They're in the mall, though. I mean,
But think
a
about
car
this.
dealership
Yeah,
in the
they're in the
mall.
mall, but like you see nothing but like Ford and Chevy and Toyota. And you see commercials all the time about all their awards and all the accolades. And if I want a Tesla, I got to get on a list.
Well, yeah, and if Elon Musk wants to, get some free
He
advertising, all
just
he does is
tweets.
picks up his phone and starts talking to people,
Oh my! And this is what
and
I'm
then the media
like.
just picks it up.
Look at the power of building a personal brand. Now that's the extreme level, but look at the power of building a personal brand.
Mm-hmm.
So, and I told you the other day, there's a reason why when a country invades another country, the first thing they go for is the offices of state, right?
Mm-hmm.
And what else? They go right for the media. See, how you deliver, that's it, communication.
Mm-hmm.
How you deliver the communication you put out, how you draw and gain attention is the number one aspect of how you're going to get your product or service out there. Attention is absolutely today's most valuable currency. Attention today is in social media. It's in the social selling atmosphere. Why? Because the largest group of buyers and influencers and all consumer markets are the millennial gen, and 74% of millennials are making buying decisions, and a third of baby boomers and a third of Gen Xers based on personal branding.
That's right.
It's
So when everyone starts thinking about but I don't know where to start, you just start with one. I'm sure, Rigo, the very first show that you had here, maybe nobody showed up.
You know what?
Maybe the team showed up,
Yeah,
but
you know what? I'll tell you this.
It
It doesn't count the team anyways because we're all on the same Wi-Fi.
But but you keep showing up. It's like the next week and the next week. So if you're putting out social media posts like here on LinkedIn or on any other social post, whether you're doing some sort of a video or some sort of a post building your personal brand, it all starts with one.
Yep.
I started with my very first speech. One turned into another, turns into another. And before you know it, you've got this personal brand.
That's exactly right. It's turned into 20 years of award-winning and authoring. You're an author too. That's kind of cool.
I am. I rethink leadership and rethink your leadership.
Yeah, I love it. I love it. Best-selling books too. Love it.
Yeah. Thank you.
I've always found that pretty cool. And listen, today there's a lot. I should have probably just picked a few things. There's so much to this.
There is.
Look, I want to know what you guys think about it. I want to get into this more. Do me a favor, help me out here with this one. Let's get Rory Vaden on with Brand Builders. Hear me, Rory?
He's in National Speakers Association.
Yeah, he's a big dude. I love his stuff though. What I love more about it is he found himself here in the process of being back, in the aspect of entrepreneurship and building businesses, and he found the critical element and aspect to this. And this is why I love what he's doing. I said, you are speaking the same language that I'm speaking. And I love this because in the process of trying to help my clients reach success, I kept finding that the biggest gap, it wasn't the marketing, it wasn't the sales training, it wasn't any of these. There was this huge hole in the middle, and that was once we train them in sales, how do we train them how to get people out of this atmosphere and onto a phone call or in front of them in a Zoom call or in front of a meeting? How do we get all of this money being spent on incredible marketing and get people's attention to it when engagement for business pages are way low? Because that's just the way it works. And I realized nobody's teaching the individual, Lori, on how to connect the value with the need.
Yeah.
And I was the only one doing it for my client, and I realized somebody needs to be teaching this. This is the importance of this personal branding aspect at all levels, individually or company. Doesn't matter, because it doesn't matter. So anyways, lots here. I definitely want to get in more. All right, real quick before we go, you guys, I want you to be a part of this group, part of the community, so we know what's going on. 316-799-8052. Text LUNCH to 316-799-8052. Join the community. Let me know you're out there. let us know in the notes here or in the comments. Let us know what you're thinking, whether you're on YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, LinkedIn, because it's going everywhere. But here's what I want you guys to understand. I want to do more of this. Help me get Rory. But I want to do more of these for you guys. Lori and I have some amazing guests lined up over the next, mainly Lori. Lori came through, man. She came through big time on this.
I know people.
Incredible guests over the next like 2 months.
Yes.
A lot more coming, you guys. Also, listen, I am now opening up a technical podcast. I want to bring on the flip side, outside of leadership, I actually want to get conversations going within our market with end users, owners, and thought leaders in the technical aspect. Check that out. That's happening on the 25th as we get into data management conversation. I want to see you guys there. That's a different element, but I want to know what you guys think about that. I really want to grow that particular piece because I want to challenge that end as well. I don't want to just challenge you in a leadership, in a thought leadership, in an influential part of your life on how to grow yourself and personal brand. I want to challenge you in the other area as well. Lori, again, I am so grateful that you're here. Thank you so much.
This was fun.
Absolutely.
It was a great conversation.
I told you this one's hard for me to try to cram in 60 minutes because I'm so passionate about this one.
We're just going to do another 60. We're just going to do it.
That's it. We'll do it. Listen, as always, God bless. Be contagious when it comes to your personality. I want to see you here next Thursday, 1 p.m. Central Time. Take care, guys. Thanks, Lori.